Hi there, and welcome to the Mindful Marathon podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Quirk, a run coach and pediatrician. Mindful Marathon is all about helping runners of all types to run their own race. Whether you are a seasoned runner or you're just getting started, I want to let you know that you're welcome here and that you're in the right place. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of the podcast. Today, I have a very special guest with me. I have with me Dr. Katy Vieira. She is a doctor of physical therapy and a run coach, and the owner of Remove, Rehab, and Performance. Having navigated several injuries, she is now passionate in guiding active individuals, especially runners, through injury and promoting long-term health. She is a runner, lifter, and lover of movement. So, Katy, welcome to the show.
Hey, Michelle. Thank you so much for having me, especially during such a busy time of the year.
Yes,
Excited.
yes, we are in the midst of holiday season.
Yes, yes, in the middle of wrapping all them gifts.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself beyond that lovely bio that I just read?
Yeah, oh God, that was actually kind of comprehensive. So besides that, I am a Philly native, so born and raised in Philly, which for any runners out there, there are some pretty good trails in Philly for running. Went to school in Philly at Drexel, and yeah, love to travel, love to work out, love to eat.
Yes, yes. And Katie just got back from this very lovely looking trip to Japan, and I
Yeah.
was ogling all of the food photos.
It was delicious. It was beautiful, amazing. Highly recommend.
Yes. Oh, I went in, what year was that? I think it was like 2016. It was a while ago, almost 10 years ago, but the sushi is still the stuff of my dreams.
Oh, the sushi's great, but the fact that like I have it here so much, trying other stuff like ramen and udon and takoyaki, like, oh my
Mm,
God, so good.
yummy. Well, we could have a whole separate podcast about food. So you're here today. We are going to talk about all sorts of things, but we wanted to place the focus a little bit on injury prevention because that is a hot topic for the runners that you and I coach and work with.
Right.
So, as a place to start, maybe could you, if you had to name one of the most common or several common mistakes that runners make when it comes to injury prevention, what would it be?
Mm. Good question. And yeah, there are definitely a lot of things you could talk about. I would say one thing, especially with novice runners, is focusing way too much on intensity and then bumping up the duration of the runs
Hmm.
without programming them appropriately and or without having built a solid foundation. So it's kind of that like hustle mentality of going all in, and that's just a recipe for injury.
Yeah.
And then if we were to go into more like advanced runners, finding the balance between recovery and training, like that is a huge, huge issue, right? Do you see that with your runners, or do you notice any other
Oh
common?
yeah. Yeah. I would say that the biggest the biggest mistake I see in both beginner runners and experienced runners is running their easy runs too fast, like just doing too much too quickly or running when you're supposed to be having a lighter training day, like running those way too hard. But
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Yeah, and it's really good to think about that like 80-20 rule, right? 80% should be easy, 20% should be hard, but sometimes you just get that bug and you kind of go into the 40-60 world and yeah, it's just yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're right. It's really hard for my experienced people and for me too to really optimize rest and recovery. And like we know, intuitively, like we understand the science and on paper that to adapt training wise, you need to put a stress on the body, but then you need to recover in order to make the adaptation. But even though we know that and we study that, that's hard in practice when you love to run and you think that it makes sense. Like, oh, well, doing more of a good thing, right?
Yeah, and another thing to add to that is like people don't realize stress is stress is stress. So, you have your job, you have your family, you have financial stuff going on. Like all of that is going to affect how much training you can tolerate. So it's not just about the running, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's everything else. Yep.
Mhm.
Which is in some ways more of a stressor.
Yeah, it is.
Um, Now, okay, so we're going to talk through a couple of more specific questions about like pain and injury awareness. So a lot of times, runners ask me, and I'm sure they ask you too. They have, little aches and pains or soreness, and they don't know like how do we know? How do we distinguish between what is some normal soreness and then something that may be more concerning that we really need to pay attention to and not, push through.
Yeah, yeah, very good question. So a couple of things that are worth being aware of. One is this new ache or pain affecting your gait? Like running gait or even walking,
Hmm.
right? If it's changing how you're walking, but especially how you're running, I would say right then and there, you want to monitor that. If not, get it checked out right away. Because if you're starting to run differently, you're stressing different parts of the body, you're gonna eventually make yourself more prone to injury, right? So,
Yeah.
is it affecting your gait? How long has it been going on for?
Hmm.
So, to be totally frank, as a runner, as an athlete, you're going to have aches and pains. You're going to have some injuries, like it's normal. But if you've been dealing with something for, let's say, more than a week, I would get that checked out. Nip it
Yeah.
in the bud.
Hmm.
And then there's always you know, like what kind of injury are we dealing with? And there are some general things you can watch out for to see if it's more serious or not. So, for example, with long distance runners, I'm more concerned about the common injuries that I see, which are tendon injuries or bone injuries, like bone stress injuries.
Hmm.
And if it's looking like a bone stress injury, I want that checked out way sooner than if it's like a tendon injury, right?
Yeah.
So how does it react to your run? So yeah, length of time, is it affecting your gait? What's the pattern of pain? All things to monitor.
Yeah. Yeah. For everybody who has been listening to the podcast, everybody knows that I'm a very conservative coach when it comes to like injury prevention and getting
Good.
things checked out. And maybe that's the medical background in me, but yeah, like don't let things go too long before you have a professional look into them because you may end up making things worse by ignoring it.
100%. And I'd rather miss a week off of training versus like 3 months.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Good
And
for you.
yes, and we realize, I know if some of you out there are thinking right now about your current aches and pains, we realize what we're asking you to do by taking some time off and like getting it assessed. We know what we're asking and we know it's difficult.
Yeah. 100%.
In terms of like prevention, so we talked about what can be concerning when we have the ache and pain, but both of us, we coach a lot of very busy humans, busy runners, and a lot of us don't have a ton of hours in the day to dedicate to prehab. So, what are a few like simple things, high impact things we can do to reduce our injury risk in the long term?
Sure. So without even talking about exercise, honestly, the number one thing is everything related to recovery.
Hmm.
So sleep, fueling. Sleep is a big thing. For my
Yeah.
last workshop, I was looking into some research, and there was a study that was like correlating lack of sleep with the likelihood of injury. And they were saying they concluded that if you get less than 8 hours of sleep,
Hmm.
you can increase your risk of injury up to 2 times. Like
Uh-huh.
that's double the risk. That's
Yes,
insane.
it is. It is.
Like, yeah, so sleep, fueling, especially with long distance runners, especially with our female runners,
Yep.
there's that risk of underfueling. That's a big issue. And also eat the dang carbs.
Yeah.
I wish I had a shirt that said that.
we could make that happen. I've had a couple of nutritionists and like sports dietitians on the podcast, and we've been, yeah, we've delved into carbs quite a bit and the importance of carbs and not fearing carbs. But I know that, yeah, we may feel like we're getting blue in the face talking about that, but it is important.
Yeah, you can never say it enough.
Yeah. So all of those things, yeah. So recovery pieces and things not necessarily having to do with running itself.
Right. And then moving forward into more running specific things. So for running, definitely tapering every like 3 to 4 weeks, right? Letting your body adapt to all of the training that you've done up until then. And then even honestly, every like quarter,
Hmm.
maybe taking a full week off of running, if not increasing that taper even more, if you really are adamant about doing some kind of running.
Hmm.
Just make sure you're not entering the world of overtraining. You're just hovering in what we call like overreaching, where you're stressing the body a bit past its capacity, but letting it adapt to that stress.
Yeah. Yeah. I call them like step down weeks. And
Yeah.
sometimes what we do is, if everything is going great, then we plan for it every 3 to 4 weeks. But if we need to, sometimes you need them a little more frequently than that, depending on how things are going. So it depends on the athlete. But yes, the step down weeks are important. You can't just like build forever and ever and ever. You'll go off the cliff.
I like that. I'm going to use that.
Right?
Yes.
Like it looks like a mountain, but you can't just keep like adding and adding and adding the training stress. Eventually something not great will happen.
Yeah, and that's honestly similar to what I tell patients in rehab. It's like the journey is gonna look like a lot of ups and downs and not linear, not like hopefully not stagnant. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, not linear. That's what I was looking for with the cliff analogy. Sorry.
I like yours better.
Now, most of us, so we're in the middle of winter,
Mm.
and many of us are in like an off season from running and races. I know a lot of runners just got done with like a fall, big busy fall training cycle. You did as well. Katie ran the Philly Marathon this year.
Yeah, it was great.
Yes,
Loved
it
it.
looked great.
It was hard, but it was great.
Yes, yes. So a lot of us are kind of in like an off season.
Mm.
How can we make the most of our off season in terms of like, yes, preventing injuries and preparing ourselves for maybe what's ahead in the spring or maybe our next training cycle? Like, what can we do now to put ourselves in the best possible shape?
Yeah, awesome. So off season is basically like what I call your base building season, not just
Hmm.
in terms of running volume, right? I'm sure you with your clients kind of go through a base building phase, but it's kind of your base, or you're building your foundation in terms of strength, in terms of habit formation. So if you haven't started strength training yet, I would say now is the perfect time to do so. You have a lot more wiggle room to modify your training, both in terms of strength training and running, to see what works for you. You also have a lot more time to play around with finding the schedule that works with you, trying to hit your nutrition and making sure you're getting all the macronutrients and calories and everything that you need. Basically, you're hopefully less busy now, so
Yes,
you can
in theory,
play around.
yes.
In theory, yes. But yeah, it's truly your time to play around with things. Um, yeah.
Yeah, if you kind of think about how much time, I mean, you could even look at your calendar and your training plan if you followed one for your last training cycle and look at how much time you were spending running and cross training and strength training. And if you're not currently training for something, there could potentially be good open pockets of time to be able to add in strength training and add in some other things to really like build your foundation here in this off season. And I know we want to build in other things. We are like chronically busy humans and we like to pile on other things.
I feel like most runners are like that too. It's
Uh-huh.
really bad.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and
100%.
another thing I would like to add to that is for anyone listening who has dealt with an injury in the past, like a running injury or anything else, now is also the perfect time to kind of build back up the capacity from that. So I'm sure during your running season, you're still maybe doing like one or two things to address and hopefully keep that injury at bay. But now is the perfect time to like make sure that you're working towards reducing the chances of re-injuring.
Mhm.
So yeah, now's the time, guys.
Yes, yes. And that's why we're putting out this episode pretty quickly so that we can all take advantage of this off season.
Yes, beautiful.
And I think this is a great segue. So, Katie and I, we have an exciting announcement. We are co-hosting a workshop at the end of January. And so, if this off-season idea sort of piqued your interest and you want more, we are hosting a workshop that we are calling Building a Resilient Runner, Off-Season Essentials for Women Runners. And it's going to be January 25th. If you live locally in the Philadelphia area, it's going to be at the Roadrunner Sports in King of Prussia, and we are very excited about it.
Yes, so excited.
So, at the workshop, we are going to cover a variety of topics here. So, Katie, can you tell us a little bit about what we'll cover, and then I will chime in?
Yes. So Roadrunner was great in letting us use their space for the event, so thank you for listening. And then in terms of what you and I are doing, so I'll be taking over more of the injury prevention side of things, going over the importance and how to implement strength training, other ways of building bone, which is huge with runners. Also just touching base on like other cross training and sports, basically other ways of healthily stressing the body. And then, of course, warning signs. So things to look out for in terms of should I get this injury checked out? So yeah, a lot of good stuff. What about
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
Michelle?
Yeah, so I'm going to focus on the off season and how to make that fun and sustainable because sometimes people hear off season and they're like, that sounds boring.
Yeah.
So we're going to reimagine the off season and then we're going to talk a lot about building your base without getting bored ahead of your spring training cycle and spring racing season. And then also for our busy professionals, how to protect your time and peace and joy and some mindfulness techniques that will support your life and your running. So part of it will be, teaching and part of it will be interactive and we'll have lots of time for mingling and Q&A and coaching and yeah.
I'm really excited because it sounds like a very holistic workshop, which I think brings very well with your values in mind. So it's great. I'm excited.
Yes, I am too. And so, yes, we will leave in the show notes, we will leave the link to register for the workshop. It is free. So head over there as soon as this podcast episode is done and register, and we will look forward to seeing you on January 25th.
Yeah, hope to see everybody there.
And Katie, if others who maybe aren't as local or perhaps they cannot come to our workshop, where can people find you?
Oh, yes. So you can follow me on Instagram. I'm pretty active on there. I have two accounts, one for my business, which is all business related. So follow me at Remove Rehab. And then my personal one, where I have a lot more of my running journey as well, is at move.nourish.dpt. Bit of a mouthful.
And Katie sees patients both in person and virtually as well.
I am licensed in Pennsylvania and Jersey. I am hoping to start treating in a new space in Northeast Philly in January, but until then, I've been doing yes, virtual and in-home visits. So yeah, reach out.
All right, great. And thank you everyone for listening. And if you have any questions about the workshop or anything else that we covered here, send one or both of us a DM. We'd be happy to chat.
Yeah, thanks so much, Michelle. This is fun.
Yeah, thanks so much for being here. And thanks everybody for listening. We will see you next week.
Bye.
Thank you for listening today. If you enjoyed the episode, please share it with a friend. And if you have a moment, please rate and review the podcast so that we can reach and encourage others to tie on their sneakers and join us out there on a run. See you next time.